It is Sunday morning, and you know what that means. We're coming off of a huge Browns Thursday night victory. I'm still feeling good about that one, to be honest with you. I'm still pumped. I'm still rolling from it. Best 3-8 team going, baby. But we're not talking Browns today. We're talking fantasy football, NFL Week 12. Start, sits. What do you need? There are 6 teams on bye. It's bye again. It's terrible timing for 6 teams to be on bye. And the parlay party, we're going to be kicking it off with our best bets for Week 12. Let's get to the show.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara, the sickest Cleveland Browns podcast.
Chubb runs, he's to the 10, 15, he's to the 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. There goes Chubb, he's to the 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Shabba-lubba hub.
It's gonna be sick.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Happy Sunday. How good does it feel, Browns fans? We just get to sit back. We get to relax. We get to feel good. Watch all these other teams play. No pressure. No pressure. It's not like we're watching for playoff seeding, whatever. We get to just feel good off of that thumping to the squealers Thursday night. Ooh, that's still so good. If you haven't checked my post-game reaction on there, get it. At SickPodBrowns, at AndyMC81 on X or Instagram, at AndyMCSports. It was a pretty good one. We got getting some really good traction on it, so check that out. Also, make sure you are clicking subscribe to the show. Notifications on, because this week there's no Browns preview. It's fantasy football. If you're in a playoff hunt, if you're trying to squeak into your fantasy playoffs, this is a big week. There is not a lot of meat on the bone, but we're going to help you through it. We'll look at some start sits, some must-play waiver wire pickups. We'll get through as we usually do. Any injury updates, go through all of it. So jump in the chat and use hashtag Ask Andy. Get your fantasy football questions. And we already got Rick in the house. T-Wolf in the house. Happy football day, Rick. Yes. Attaboy. Rick's ready to rock and roll, baby. Are you? Get your fantasy football questions in. Also, Parlay Party coming up with my guy from ESPN 97.3. Josh Hennig will stop by in just a couple minutes. We got the Parlay Party. We're going to be building our extreme ticket, our best bets. I want to know your ticket. What's your best parlay going today? Get it in the chat. Get us hashtag Ask Andy for bets for fantasy football questions on X at SickPodBrowns, at AndyMC81, Instagram at AndyMCSports. Got some fun stuff coming up today. It's so nice. It's so freeing. There's no pressure. Browns game, nervous. By the way, I know it's a couple days old. And again, watch the post-game reaction on social. But how good did that feel? Oh, and George Pickens, what a little piece of work. The Steelers seriously have a blind spot to wide receivers when it comes to character issues. Immature, crybaby, loser talk. For as professional and well-coached as that team is, they have a blind spot. And it goes back to Antonio Brown being smoked. Who smoked him? Was it a Bengals player, I think, just ripped that. And then something clicked off in his brain. But since then, you got Juju Smith-Schuster, who's doing Corvette or whatever, and the Browns pummeling. Browns is the Browns, and they beat his ass. And then you got that little baby Chase Claypool playing video games, that Canadian bum. He can't do anything. Is he even in the league, Chase Claypool? You loser. And then George Pickens. So you go, oh, it was the weather. Cool. Thanks, bro. Let's put that up on the bulletin board. Couple weeks time when the Browns come to your house and whip your ass, because that is going to be spoiler. It's 3-8. It's 3-8. We know what it is. There's no playoffs this year, not for a long shot. It would have to be a complete miracle, and we know as Browns fans we don't get miracles. We don't get that. But we can get is stopping the Steelers' hopes and dreams and adding those tears of baby George Pickens to the tier water bottle that we've collected from Ben Roethlisberger when we eliminated him from the playoffs under Baker Mayfield a few years ago. So good. Myles Garrett, by the way, I love it. People are like, oh, Myles saying he's number one. He's bright. Good. Get pumped up, brother. Get pumped up. 3 sacks. You punked TJ Watt. That guy was talking trash. You talk trash to Myles Garrett. Are you insane? You want to awaken that beast? He's a mild-mannered guy. You want to awaken him? Okay, cool. 3 sacks. Sensational. Jameis Winston. I love Jameis's pre-post whenever he talks, because it always seems like he he has a vague idea of where he wants to go, like the message he wants to get across, but he has no idea how to get there. It is a snowstorm like there was in Cleveland in front of him, and he knows the destination of his message, but he goes. And again, the message was, it's in the Lord's hands. Yep, sure is, James. And it worked. Oh, that was so good. That was so good. Oh, eat it, squealers, you bastards. Go sit down. Have a seat. Look, they'll go to the playoffs. Whatever. I don't care. We beat them. And that's good. And now we get to rest up. And then we, what do we got? Denver next, right? Yeah, Denver, December 2nd. Bengals game got flexed, by the way. The December 19 game got flexed to the Sunday, the 22nd. Probably for the best with those two teams. But now we get to chill. We get to relax. We get to talk some fantasy football here, okay? But before we do that, you know what always goes good after beating those squealers? Slapping some stadium mustard on. Look at that. From ballparks to backyards and everywhere in between, stadium mustard is a smooth but spicy mustard, rich in taste and tradition. Stadium mustard is real and organic, not manufactured. You can get it at Cleveland Browns Stadium, throughout Ohio, throughout America, and in Canada. Check it out. Stadium mustard. This perfect for today. You're watching the game. How about a nice deli sandwich? Have a little ham, toast up some bread, some cheese, lettuce, tomato maybe. You got some bacon? Throw some bacon on it. But definitely throw some stadium mustard on. Burgers, hot dog, anything for mustard. I'm telling you. Chicken tenders. I love stadium mustard on chicken tenders too. Check it out. Stadium mustard. We love it. We dig it. And we're ready to rock and roll. Now, some quick notes when we'll bring on our buddy Josh Hennig. We're going to just get some fantasy health updates here. Let's just scroll through it. We know Devonta Smith is out. Mike Evans in. Interesting note, Ladd McConkey, and this is a tough one. It's Monday night, but Ladd McConkey had one practice and was limited throughout the week. Shoulder injury. They said, we're not going to know if he's going to play till 90 minutes before kickoff. So we have a decision. For me, check your waiver wire. Is Josh Palmer or Quentin Johnson available if you have Ladd McConkey? Even if you don't. If they are, get him. For me, I have Ladd McConkey in 3 leagues, and those two guys are not available in any. So I'm making the business decision to sit Ladd McConkey because I can't risk getting no points. And that's the trouble with the Monday night is you got a guy injured, right? So Ladd McConkey is very questionable. We have to be careful there. Good to see Kevin Stefanski off the hot seat. Aaron Rodgers reports, he's injured. He's leaking. He's injured all over the place. And is he going to come back? Also, some talk. Maybe you want to be a little proactive. Yeah, maybe pick up some Daniel Jones. There's rumors that Brock Purdy's shoulder injury could keep him out more than this week. You got Brandon Allen going today for the Niners, but Daniel Jones rumored to go to San Francisco. I think in a spot, Kyle Shanahan brings Daniel Jones. I actually think that'd be a decent fit. I think that'd be a pretty good fit. After the Giants released him this week, of course. Let's see. Daniel Jones stuff. Aaron Rodgers. Who do we got? DeAndre Swift and Keenan Allen should be playing today. Bears said they're confident. Malik Neighbors is expected to play today as well versus the Bucks. Mike Evans has returned, of course. Still, I'd be playing Cade Otton. Noah Fant, questionable with a groin. All the groin injuries today. What's going on? Groin injury for the Seahawks, Noah Fant. Let's see. We got Armstead out for the Dolphins, offensive tackle. Game time decision, actually. Okay. Whatever there. Jonathan Brooks is slated to make his season debut for the Panthers. So if you're a Chuba Hubbard owner, be careful. I don't think he'll be worked in that much today. I think it'll be a slow work. Adam Thielen should also play today. That's just going to be a tough matchup no matter what. So we'll keep you up to date through injuries throughout the day. Any other start sits, you see anything pop on? Panthers have placed Miles Sanders on injured reserve. Not that you were looking to play him anyway. Let's see. Yeah, Brandon Cooks, Trevon Diggs, Zach Martin won't play versus the Commanders. That's to be a smash for Washington. Okay. We'll keep you up to date as the day goes on. Get your fantasy football questions in again on social at SickPodBrowns, at AndyMC81. Use hashtag Ask Andy. Get them in the chat as well here on YouTube, Instagram too, at AndyMC Sports. Let's bring in my guy, ESPN host, producer, 97.3 ESPN. It is Josh Hennig on a Sunday morning. How you doing, brother?
Brother, I'm doing good. It's one of those days where, like you said, when your team was in play in the 1 o'clock window, or in your case, not at all, on a Sunday, it's kind of like a weird vibe. Like you're looking around being like, wow, we're talking about everybody else's team but your team.
Yeah. It's like, what do I do with my hands? Like, you're just kind of waiting. You're just kind of like shuffling around. It's like, what do I do? What do I do here? But it's going to be a good day. It's a good slate of games. We'll get to our parlay party here in a moment. Josh, how's for fantasy football? It's a nasty week. This is a nasty week. It's Bime again. We got 6 teams off. Have you had to make any difficult fantasy decisions this week for your team? Like I said just before you came on, Ladd McConkey's a tough play. I want him in there, but it's right before. And if you miss on your Monday play, you're screwed. You're not getting anybody else to fill in that slot.
Well, here's an example for you. So, like, if you are somebody who is struggling in the tight end arena, right? Let's say you drafted a George Kittle in your draft, or you're someone who drafted one of the tight ends you thought would be here.
Right.
And now you're looking around like, who am I going to pick up? So it's like, for example, I think it was a week or two ago, I picked up Jonnu Smith of the Dolphins.
Yep.
Well, what did I do? I started playing him in my flex because it was one of those deals where you're like, well, all these guys are on bye weeks. I need someone to play, and he's paid off a little bit for you. I know he's still available. I think it's 33% of the ESPN fantasy league, stuff like that. So I do know that there are guys to be had out there. And by the way, you got to get some of these guys because of the fact that, guess what? Guys like Devonta Smith aren't playing.
Yeah.
And it's like Devonta Smith can get you a lot of and well, here's the problem. What do you believe in more in a game like tonight? Does Andy McNamara believe more in the Rams pass rush or the Eagles offensive line?
Ooh, that's a nice little battle. I'm going to say, because I'm not discounting the Rams pass rush, but I just think the escapability of Jalen Hurts and mobility gives the Eagles more options to survive that. Whereas if you reverse it, if Matthew Stafford was the Eagles quarterback, I would have more confidence the other way around, because Matthew Stafford's we know where he's going to be, right? He's going to be in the pocket and he's going to set up camp there. That's it.
So here's one of my stats from the week for you for the Eagles and Rams tonight.
Okay.
In the last 4 losses Matthew Stafford has had, he has been hit, not sacked, hit 7 times in those games. In the games that they have won, the Rams, he has been hit less than 4 times in those games.
Ooh, interesting. Okay. This is a game we talked about on your show on, was it Friday? Was I on with you?
Friday.
Yeah, Friday.
I
was calling the lacrosse game last night. I got a wedding to go to, Sunday wedding, an hour away. That's after. I'm all over the place here, man.
Sunday wedding. What is wrong with people?
Second wedding for both of them, so I guess they kicked out. I was like, do City Hall. Why am I going on a football Sunday? Winner. She's not watching the show. Love you, Nicole. Anyway, we'll see. That will reflect in the envelope amount. Let me making me miss my football. At least the Browns. I was mad, and then the Browns played Thursday. I was like, well, okay, at least they're not playing. So it's okay. But anyway, we were talking about on your show of like, okay, when we look at with Devonta Smith being out, where does that ball get distributed, right? And we're looking at the situations of who's more desperate. Is it the Rams, who need to win to try to keep pace with the Arizona Cardinals in that razor thin West Division?
Right.
Or is it the Eagles, who don't need to win, but if they do, it would certainly put a stamp and keep them in race for that top overall seed with the Lions?
And what's crazy is that you're talking about where the targets go for Devonta Smith. You know, they activated Britton Covey yesterday from injury reserve to the Eagles. So does Britton Covey cut into Dallas Goedert's targets, for example? Ooh. Listen, no one's expecting Jahan Dotson to have a big game. The guy's barely made a dent this year, even when he's got playing time. But Britton Covey's a guy they really like. He's a shifty slot corner, kind of in that like Cole Beasley mold, right? And remember, who had Cole Beasley in Dallas? That guy, Kellen Moore, who's the Eagles offensive coordinator.
Right. So shifty guy, zip him in. Interesting play. I could be a desperate. I wouldn't mind that as a contrarian play for DFS, perhaps. Right, you're in your DraftKings fantasy lineup. You pop him in. He'd be cheap.
Yeah, the other guy is, keep in mind, Grant Calcaterra is still out there. He's a guy who got a lot of targets with Dallas guy that was out. We know that Kellen Moore likes to use the tight end. So is it a situation where, again, we're looking, if you're playing face football, you're looking at the guys who are already there. Who's going to get vultured? Like, for example, Barkley always gets vultured on the goal line when it comes to touchdowns. Yeah, we know A.J. Brown's going to get his. No one worries about that. But Dallas Goedert's kind of like in this weird amoeba. And, again, it goes back to the whole tight end thing. It's like, who's the tight end? One, I don't know. Who's tight end? Two, I don't know either.
Yeah.
Well, who's playing tight end? Doesn't matter. They all stink.
Yeah, that's it. They're all that. Like, Will Dissly is an interesting play. I'd put him in for the Chargers, especially if McConkey's not looking too good. He's been getting the ball. Like, it's really all over the place. Sam Laporta's back. Whatever good that does you. I don't know. I am so disappointed, Josh, in Sam Laporta because I have him in like 3 leagues. I was like, this is the guy. And it's not. The problem is, it's not just Sam Laporta. It's like across the board, as we know. It's like the worst year for. I feel each year we keep saying it's the worst year for tight ends, and then it gets worse. It keeps getting worse. At least Travis Kelce's kind of popping a little bit there. Get your fantasy football questions in. We got a couple in the chat. We'll get to that in a moment. But I want Josh. Let's do our DraftKings Sick Picks right now.
It's time for Sick Picks. Brought to you by DraftKings. The crown is yours.
I want to do it for this Eagles-Rams match with you. I got my 4-leg ticket, and then we can build one out from you. And then we'll do our crazy one. We'll build out like 15er and see if we can put a couple bucks on, win a few. I haven't hit on one of our 17-leggers yet, Josh, but we're due. We're due for that one. Look, you just got to be right once. You just got to be right once, right? Come on. One time. Today could be the day. But let's look at this one. So for my Sick Picks for DraftKings for this Eagles-Rams game, I have Eagles cover the spread. Pays better than just straight up money line winner, 2.5. If you're gonna pick him to win, you might as well get the better payout on the spread, 2.5. Saquon Barkley anytime touchdown. I know you said Jalen Hurts, but I still think you can get him in. Dallas Goedert over 4.5 total receptions, and Saquon Barkley over 2.5 receptions. That seems reasonable, right? Is anything wacky there?
It's definitely reasonable. I mean, look, I do think Saquon scores in this game. It just might not be a rushing touchdown. There's a possibility he catches a touchdown.
Right. This is anytime touchdown. So he can moonwalk. He can do his reverse flip, backwards hurdle over. I don't care how the hell he gets in there. Just get in there.
So where I would go to add on to that is a couple points. One, Matthew Stafford interception. Because if you believe the Eagles are going to win the game, Andy,
right?
What is your pathway to victory? It's getting to the quarterback. Well, if you're getting to the quarterback, Stafford's a gunslinger, right?
Yeah.
So him throwing an interception definitely could be had. Hey, don't forget, it's not like this Rams offensive line is great. Haverstein, he might not play today. He was listed as doubtful over the weekend. They have a rookie starting at center in this game. So it's like, okay, Rams offensive line, not great. Stafford, not the most mobile. So unless Stafford is going to have the greatest game of his career tonight, I'm assuming he's going to throw an interception at some point.
I like the anytime interception. Okay, let's add that on. If we put $10 on that, I didn't put the interception in this ticket, but we can add that on later. For the Philly 2.5, Saquon anytime touchdown, Saquon over 2.5 receptions, Dallas Goedert over 4.5 receptions. We do $10 on that. Pay out $77.36. Nothing wrong with that, right?
36 cents is very important.
The 36, like every cent, you never know. Every cent counts when it comes to this. Okay, so there we go. We'll pop that one in there as our Sick Picks. Let us know your best bets, your parlay party. What are you kicking around today? Oh, we got Rick in the chat here says on the YouTube chat, Kyron Williams under 76.5 yards rushing. Great. He's quietly had a great year. And I think what Rick's saying is, I think if that Eagles defense is as good as we're thinking it could be, then if the Eagles can get up quick, takes away the rushing opportunities for Williams, and maybe they can stuff that line. Does that make sense to you?
It definitely makes sense because the Eagles are one of the best teams. They're allowing some of the fewest total yards in the NFL. They have been a very good, stout defense. They're allowing 11 points per game since they returned from their bye week during this 6-game winning streak. So to me, again, as you said, if the game plays out the way we think it's going to play out, a lot of this is where we're projecting what we assume the game's going to go. So the guy's right. Kyron Williams might not be a good play tonight.
Just looking here from Adam Schefter about Daniel Jones. It's been rumored going to the 49ers possibly. Expect to have multiple options. Likely would prefer to finish the season off on a playoff contending team. I don't think Daniel Jones can be too picky at this point. He'd prefer. Okay, Daniel. Let's relax here, pal. Look, if someone signs you at all, you're good. You should be happy with how awful you were in New York. I think though, if we look at the possibility, I'm going to try to pick him up if I have room on my bench, especially in 2 QB leagues. Daniel Jones, because if he goes to the 49ers, like Josh, we've seen Kyle Shanahan do better with no-name guys, right? Like his skill set, rolling out, keeping it simple, could work. If Brock Purdy's going to be out for a little bit, they said multiple weeks possibly with the shoulder.
So I always go back to look what CJ Beathard is in Jacksonville compared to the way he was with San Francisco. Completely different quarterbacks, right?
Totally.
So
I liked him in San Francisco. Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan, he knows what he's doing with these quarterbacks. And what I think is more concerning is now maybe you're desperate in fantasy football, right? But at the end of the day, if Brock Purdy is going to miss multiple weeks, that is a huge concern for the rest of the team. Kittle, Samuel, McCaffrey. How does that impact all the other targets on that team if you are playing fantasy football, if you are placing prop bets, right? So now you're looking around, like, for example, a game like today's weird because guess who's not playing for the Packers? Jair Alexander. So it's like, okay, I got Braylon Allen throwing the ball. So like it almost like offsets. So it's one of those deals where it's like, hey, the Packers are without their best corner, right? But then
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter exactly. Doesn't matter. A guy you probably should be like playing in like the what's called now the UFL, XFL, whatever it is.
I think it's UFL now because they blended XFL and USFL. I didn't watch a snap of it, but anyway, UFL. Wasn't there that weird? What was the Philly one? Was that USFL? That weird coach? Remember we were talking about that when it came out the one time. I guess it's all blended together now. I forget. Yeah, there's a weird Philly guy. So
we looked it up. It was a guy we had never heard of.
Yes.
And like we had to dig deep into the depths of the internet. That's a scary place to go.
Yes. We're on the dark web looking up USFL Philadelphia head coaches. My God. Now you mentioned the quarterback situation in San Francisco. Thunderwolf in the chat has a fantasy question here. Who would you start? Deebo Samuel without Purdy or Quentin Johnston? And so Quentin Johnston, of course, on the Chargers. And so here's what I think. Even with Braylon Allen, everybody knows what the blueprint's going to be, and it probably still will work. It's going to be dink and dunk. It's going to be short. There's going to be some gadgetry. Debo's going to be, I think, a big part of that. And in the short game, you give him some room. We know what he can do. But on the other side, Monday night, if Ladd McConkey doesn't play or isn't 100%, opens things up a lot for Quentin Johnston, who's now a couple games back from being injured.
Yeah, and the other problem is that think about who they're going against. Ravens, outside of last week, have not been a good defense this year.
No, especially their secondary. No good.
Right. So, you got to go with the odds sometimes. And, who do you think? Don't think about just the player who's catching the ball. You got to think about who's throwing him the ball. So, do you trust Braylon Allen or do you trust Justin Herbert more? I mean, I don't know if you saw what Harbaugh said this week, but Harbaugh,
Harbaugh Bowl.
Jim said this week. Jimmy said that Justin Herbert is one of the greatest quarterback talents to ever live. So,
Aggressive.
If you think Jim Harbaugh is even half correct, you go with Quentin Johnston.
Look, can Jim Harbaugh, can I have him be a spokesperson for my Justin Herbert autographed 3-color patch Chargers rookie card, please? Because I think that would help the value. Come on, Jimmy. Look, I'm hoping. That's that's my vacation fund right there. Come on. Come on, Herbie. Let's go. Greatest of all time. Yeah. That's bold. I think Justin Herbert is a fine quarterback. I think the offense, they're very well coached. Going best ever might be a bit much. And how much do you put in the Harbaugh Bowl? Because the brothers obviously know each other so well. They're going to try to out-scheme. But I think in the end, it's about, the Ravens secondary isn't any good. And Quentin Johnston is really good downfield. And Justin Herbert's over that high ankle and has a hell of an arm.
Matchup of the game. Offensive coordinator for the Chargers, Greg Roman, versus first-year Ravens DZ, Zach Orr, right? So now you got a guy in his first year as defensive coordinator against a guy in Greg Roman who has been around a long time.
Yeah.
And wait a minute, where did Greg Roman used to coach, Andy?
San Francisco,
Was it
Baltimore?
Baltimore.
Yep.
Think about that. You don't think Greg Roman's going to have a couple extra items on that play sheet for that game?
Yep. Well, and the thing is, too, Greg Roman finally has a quarterback that he doesn't just have to scheme on who can run. It's not just Colin Kaepernick. Oh, crap. He can run a lot. Lamar Jackson, he can run. He can't throw, but he's got a guy who is mobile, not to the same degree, obviously.
Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor in Buffalo, too.
Yeah, God bless Tyrod. Needle to the chest gave Justin Herbert. That's how he got it. Poor Tyrod. What a nice fella, but boy, not very good at staying healthy. What can you do? Needle to the chest. What are you going to do? But now Greg Roman can actually, I think, really try to expand on what he can do as a coordinator because he actually has a guy with true arm talent. And that's what we've been seeing as they've worked up. So in any case, long-winded way to get to saying Quentin Johnston is, I think, the safer pick for your fantasy team. Hashtag Ask Andy. Get the questions in. We got another one in the chat here from Jameson. Let's bring up Jameson. Just like the whiskey, baby. PPR, 3 wide receivers. Lamb, Evans, Hopkins, or Jennings. Okay. Oh, boy. Well, we love CeeDee Lamb, but you got Cooper Rush, who's, in fairness, Cooper Rush is a serviceable, borderline average backup. He's not going to win you a game. He's not going to lose you a game. He's just kind of there. Evans coming back. I think we got to play him for sure. Ooh, Jennings is interesting because we've seen him pop up and do some great things in San Francisco, but we go back to that Braylon Allen situation. So with this, Josh, are we looking Lamb, Evans, Hopkins?
First of all, I love Hopkins of those options because I think he has a growing role in that offense week in and week out.
Yeah.
I'm a little cautious about Evans because, how healthy is he? Are they going to have him on a snap count?
They said no restrictions. What does that mean? Yeah.
Listen, as a Browns guy, Andy, you remember years ago, when Amari Cooper first came to Cleveland and he got injured with, what was it, a calf, I believe? And
I think so.
They were like, oh, no, he's fine. And then he didn't play an entire quarter in the game. And people were like, where's Amari Cooper?
Where's the fine?
He's supposed to be out there.
Fantasy football death. These coordinators, they don't care about your fantasy team.
Nope.
It's all linguistics. They're all using that, and then you put him in, and then he doesn't play. I'd still rather take my chances with Evans than Braylon Allen than hoping Juwan Jennings, because at least with Deebo Samuel, there's all the gadgetry. You can flip it to him, sweeps. You can do a whole bunch of Jennings needs the ball thrown to him, and I'm not confident they're going to be airing it out with friggin' Braylon Allen in San Francisco today.
I think today's going to be a big Christian McCaffrey day.
I agree. Yeah. This is going to be a big McCaffrey day. And for your point, Hopkins, you're facing the Panthers. Giddy up. I big Kareem Hunt day. Pacheco not activated. Could be the last big Kareem Hunt opportunity. You light up Kareem Hunt and you let him go. I think this could be a case you score a couple touchdowns early, put the Panthers away, and then just friggin' keep giving it to Kareem Hunt, right?
By the way, one of my bets of the weekend I gave on my show on Friday, Andy, was Panthers team total under in this game
Okay.
because I think the Chiefs defense is going to basically come out and smack them around after their loss last week.
Yeah. Oh, that's extra bad news for the Panthers. You get the Chiefs, who are always good, and now they're angry. Oopsie. Bryce Young might die today, folks. That might be it. That might be it. That might be it for old Bryce. Little sixth grader Bryce Young, poor guy. Oh man. Yeah. That's gonna be a bloodbath. 10.5. I hate double-digit spreads, but 10.5 for Kansas City. I think I'd be looking alternate going 14 plus. Come on. Right?
I mean, that's why I say if you go with the team total under, you know the Panthers aren't going to score points. So it's just a matter of what does Kansas City do? Like, do they get a lead, Andy, and they just like go run the ball the rest of the second half? Like, it could be one of those games where like, you're flipping, if you're flipping around and you're like, how's the Kansas City Panthers game going? And you're like, wait a minute, why is this still 20-7? Why is this still 21-10? Forever.
I think maybe it's a day for the Panthers kicker. Maybe you get a couple field. I don't know. It's don't get Adam Thielen returning. Don't get too excited. Don't get too excited. Another one on the chat here. Keep jumping in. Share the show, of course. Notifications on. Click subscribe. This is from Bryce. Fellas, good morning. Good morning, Bryce. Hope all is well. Pick one, Kittle or Goddard. Then flex one, Aaron Jones or DJ Moore. Okay, let's start with the tight ends here. With Devonta Smith out, I just really like Dallas Goedert today, Josh, against the Rams. I'm going Dallas Goedert here.
It goes back to what previously said. Go with the better quarterback.
Yeah. And the situation, right? Where are more opportunities? If you take Devonta Smith out, you're opening up those targets to somebody. And part of that should go to Dallas Goedert, who's been really clicking the last few weeks. So, okay, we'll go Goddard. Aaron Jones or DJ Moore. I got to go with Aaron Jones. I don't think there's any injury designation to Aaron Jones. Let me just give a quick check. I think that was a couple weeks ago. Let me just double check here.
Well, while you check that, I'll just say this. The only concern you got to have with DJ Moore is I think some of those targets are going to Rona Dunze right now. So it's one of those situations where Moore's become more of a boomer bust play, whereas Aaron Jones, when he's playing, he's getting touches.
Yeah, absolutely. And he'll be the top guy. Yeah, no injury designation. I think it was a couple weeks ago. I just wanted to check that. Popped into my head. Slow week last week in the win over Tennessee, but with Chicago. And we have to remember, too, with the Bears, this is the second week under their new offensive coordinator. And, Josh, what we saw last week was a commitment to the run, smartly, to take the pressure off of your rookie quarterback who's getting pummeled and looks terrible overall. So, to me, that leans more to the Chicago running backs. Desperation play, Roschon Johnson today. I'm not saying I like it, but it's a desperation. So we'll say Aaron Jones, by the way, Bryce. So we'll go Aaron Jones and Dallas Goedert for the picks there. But Roschon Johnson as a secondary guy, desperation, you go with him. Another one who is, look, we don't like it, but there's 6 teams on bye. Amir Abdullah. There's like once a year, Josh. There's once a year we all get on the Amir Abdullah bandwagon and we say, come on, kids. We're seeing Abdullah. Let's go. This is the week for the Raiders. The Raiders suck. We know that. Probably going through a coaching change. Sure. But they're all injured, and it's Abdullah. Look, he's got some goal line potential. He can catch, he can run. He's not good. But if he's the only option back there, default.
Speaking of the Raiders, I don't mean to derail the topic here, but I got to know from you, how do you feel about these rumors that at the end of the year, the Raiders are going to fire Antonio Pierce and they're going to go hire Bill Belichick?
Okay. Do you think Bill Belichick is going to work for Tom Brady, technically, as an owner of the Raiders, part owner? I don't think so.
I mean, Brady might be his advocate. Brady might be his advocate. He might go to Mark Davis and be like, hey, man, you got to listen to this guy. I got rings because of this guy.
Could you imagine Brady as Belichick's boss? That would be hilarious. That wouldn't be direct, but technically it would be. That'd be very funny. And then if one day Brady gets to fire Belichick, could you imagine?
No, so here's the deal. I know for a fact from people that I know, Belichick really wants that all-time wins record.
Oh, yeah.
He really
He's a historian
wants
of the game.
that number.
Yeah.
Exactly. And he knows that he's got to go somewhere that's going to let him coach. So he can't go somewhere like Dallas where Jerry Jones is going to be meddling all the time.
Exactly.
He's got to go somewhere like the Raiders where the owner, like a Mark Davis, is going to be a little more laid back, a little more like, hey, man, you're the football guy. You do football.
I'll deal with get my bowl haircuts.
Right.
That's the ugliest man in sport. I'm sorry. And it's not age. He's the ugliest man in sport. I'm not saying we're beauty queens here, Josh, but come on. That's an ugly dude. Anyway, I think the better fit for Belichick, because we have to think of this. You're absolutely right. Owner who lets him coach stays out of the way. But he also probably wants a quarterback because he's not interested in a rebuild. He's got to win now to get that record. He's in his late 60s now, right? He needs his, if not 70. Is he 70?
He's 70.
He's 70. Look, you don't got time to be fooling around here. Raiders got no quarterback. You know who does have a quarterback? Jacksonville Jaguars got a quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. They're going to blow that up. Doug Peterson, he's out of there. And you have a hands-off owner who spends money in Shad Khan.
I think that's problem in Jackson.
Sorry, go on.
My problem with Jacksonville is, do we really believe in Trevor Lawrence?
I think you believe in him more than Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah, but you could acquire a quarterback. You could maybe trade for somebody.
What are you getting, though? Like at least, look, I think Jacksonville it's been a bad year, but I think they have, if you look at their roster, it's not terrible. Like, they have stuff. And if you can add free agency, have a good draft, like, you can add things there to, I think, with Trevor Lawrence, who's had a tough go of it. Do I think Trevor Lawrence is going to live up to his number one overall potential? No. Do I think I've seen enough to believe that, boy, if you put him on a well-coached, and nothing against Peterson, I think things just went kind of sideways, but you put him on a well-coached team and you put the pieces around him again, is he worth a shot over what else might be out there? Some retreads? I think so. I'd give it a go.
I hear what you're saying. I just feel like I saw what Doug did in Philadelphia. I know what he's capable of. And if Lawrence has not grown under him, it's just a red flag for me.
Definitely. No, absolutely no doubt. Be very interesting to see. And let's not forget Mike Vrabel's kicking around too, consulting with the Browns. Where does he go?
That's true.
Right? Where does he go?
Vrabel goes wherever Belichick doesn't.
Wherever he goes. Maybe. Right? Very well. It could be. Let's jump into the chat again and get another fantasy question here. Got from Jameson. PPR, Jacoby Myers or Jalen Waddle? So we're talking Myers on the Raiders. God, I just can't trust that quarter. Like, he had a couple big weeks, 8 and 9 before the bye, like a lot of target share. But you're playing that Denver defense. I don't like that. Not to say that that Waddle's been and that Miami offense has been lighting it up. I think I'd feel more comfortable with Waddle. What about you?
Denver's D, like you said, Denver's D is legit.
Yeah.
They are impressive.
Yeah. They're doing well. And Jalen Waddle, the trouble is, I'm just looking here. Jalen Waddle, my God, Jalen Waddle has not gotten double-digit fantasy points since week 1. I didn't realize it was that bad. Wow.
Jonnu Smith, baby. Jonnu Smith.
Jonnu Day. Man, I think I'd still rather roll the dice with Jalen Waddle.
Because at least you might get a big play.
You might get a big play. It's against New England, whose defense can be stingy, but they've given up the 10th most fantasy points to wide receivers. I think we go with Waddle. I would just be prepared. We might be looking at single digits fantasy point-wise either way. That just might be how we're looking there. Let's build out, Josh, and keep the fantasy questions coming, betting questions. Let me know some of you guys parlay. Josh and I are going to build our ultimate betting ticket for NFL Sunday in the parlay party. And we'll get out of here. I got to go shave in a bit and get ready for Sunday wedding. Yeah. Can't even drink. I got to drive home an hour too. Just sit there. Oh, well, have my phone on. Okay, let's go. Enough about my problems. All right, let's kick through. We can do props. We can do spread. We can do whatever we want. Minnesota Vikings at Chicago Bears here, Josh. Spread is 3.5. It is in Chicago. Over under 39.5. I think Vikings 3.5 at -102 makes sense to me. I'm gonna say that. What do you think? You like any props for that one?
Justin Jefferson anytime touchdown.
Let's get her in there. Let's go. Let's see. Okay, Justin Jefferson's put her in. Justin Jefferson is plus money anytime, plus 125. Hell yeah! All right. Thank you, Vegas. Let's go.
And then the reason why that is because people are over adjusting for the Bears' seemingly good defense.
Yeah, I'm not buying it. I don't mean they're terrible, but
it's Justin Jefferson. He's the best receiver in football.
Come on. Exactly. Okay, so we'll say Vikings to cover there. Rick saying Kmet over 2.5 receptions. I like that, Rick, in the chat.
Solid.
I like that. You know what? We're gonna add that to the parlay party, Rick. How about that? Let's get that in there. Hold on, let's add that in. What do we got? Receptions. Not receiving yards. We're gonna go Kmet. Total receptions over 2.5 -128. Boom. In the parlay party. Let's go. Okay, let's keep adding to it here. Tampa Bay, New York Giants. Bucks 5.5-point favorites. Tommy DeVito is back. Oh boy. Oh, he's back and he's also nursing an injury coming in, but he will play. That's going to be a fun day. I'm not touching anything to do with the Giants today. No props.
No.
Nothing. Do we like anything with Tampa Bay? This is just all Tampa Bay. I don't know if I even want to bet this one.
Tampa to cover the spread.
5.5 in New York. I don't think there's any extreme weather today, is there?
No.
Okay. Well, that's right. Yeah, that's right where you are. Yes, you know. It's nice outside. Nice-ish.
All right. It's as nice as a November day in New Jersey can be.
Fair. Okay, let's go. After this one, we got Dolphins, New England, 7.5. Yeah, you know what? Let's skip that one. I don't like that one. Okay, let's do the alternate spread. Kansas City Panthers, 10.5. We're going, let's do alt spread 14. You like that?
I mean, I like it. I don't love it just because I told you like earlier. I was like, it's one of those deals where it's like, I can totally see it be like, like 21-9, 21-10, and you're sitting there like biting your fingernails in the fourth quarter. You know what I mean?
Let's see what the money is at least on it. Panthers. Does it show more? Let's see here. 14. Yeah, we can just do 10.5. Let's just do 10.5 on it. That's fine. Okay, we'll do 10.5 on the Chiefs. That should be pretty easy money. We'll add a couple more. We're on a 5-legger so far. And you know what? Anything to do with Kareem Hunt. I think maybe anytime Kareem Hunt touchdown. You like that? Or rushing yards or?
I mean, I would tend to go like anytime TD for like a Kelsey or a Hopkins.
Anytime TD. Okay, let's see here. Okay, TD props. We got Kareem Hunt -150, Kelsey +140, Hopkins +185. Okay, what do you prefer? You want Kelsey or you want Hopkins?
I mean, Kelsey's the guy, right? I mean, he's you know what Kelsey's turned into? He's turned into Mr. Second Half. He can't do anything the first half of seasons. He's only good for the second half of a season.
And lights up that way. Yep. Okay. We'll add that in there. Let's get it to at least a 10-legger, and then we'll book it out of here, Josh. Let's see. Okay. So Cowboys, Commanders. Commanders 10.5-point favorites. Look like they should blast Dallas. It is a division game. Cooper Rush. Yep. Does that make sense to you? Is there any bets with that one? Like I think the Commanders are going to stomp them, but again, those double-digit point spreads.
Jaden Daniels over on the passing yards. Remember, he's been dealing with the ribs injury. He had an extra several days off, right? So now he might be the healthiest he's been in weeks, and the Cowboys defense is trash, unlike what Michael Parsons said on his podcast.
Right. Over 225.5 -110. Let's do it.
Oh, that's a book. That's a book, baby.
That's a book. Yeah, that's money right there. Okay. Detroit, Indianapolis. 7.5-point favorites are the Lions. Colts with Anthony Richardson. Not to say the Lions won't win, but the Colts, they've given me a little bit of pause, and maybe it's just that bunch of Anthony, that little bump up in Anthony Richardson. Then I don't really love the spread there.
So my inclination would be, I think this is a game where you go maybe like prop bet.
Right.
Maybe like a over on the Lions team total, or maybe an over on the Amon-Ra St. Brown receiving yards, those kind of deals.
Yes. Let's see game specials. You got anything in there here? Let's see. Detroit Lions to score in all 4 quarters. Minus 115.
That's a weird one.
That's a weird one. That's a weird one. Receiving props. What'd you say? Receiving yard. Amon-Ra St. Brown over 73.5.
You should do that, right?
That seems like, not that I don't think he can. I just get nervous that might be a bit high. I don't know how much I like that one. Passing props. Anthony Richardson. 250.5. You know what, Josh? I don't like it. I'm nervous about that one. I don't want to risk our plus 6,285 right now.
Move on to the next one.
Broncos and Raiders. Broncos by 5.5. I think that's good.
Raiders team total under.
Team total under. Okay. We got that. 49ers, Packers. Again, Braylon Allen, no Brock Purdy. Got to be the Pack at home, right?
So I got a weird stat for you, Andy. All right.
Okay.
Did you know that Jordan Love has thrown an interception in every game he played this year?
You know what? He's like, doesn't he lead the NFL in interceptions?
He's one of the league leaders. Yep.
Really? Okay. So maybe interception here. Let's see. Jordan
I'm just
Love.
saying that the trend is there.
It's a yes, minus 146. Want to do it? Oh, Bose is out. I think Bose is out too, though.
Yeah, but again, he's been throwing interceptions against mediocre teams. Not doing it against his only good teams. Yeah.
True. Okay. Let's do it. We're going to be cheering against Jordan Love. We're going to cheer against old Jordan there. Okay, let's do one. We got one more to do. Let's do pick. Let's see. Let's get our choice of this. Arizona, Seattle, Philly Rams. Let's do some Philly Rams. We talked about that earlier. Do we want to do the 2.5 Eagles win?
Yeah, I think that's safe.
2.5 Eagles win. Oh, yeah. Look at that, baby. That's a 10-legger. Okay, so 10 legs plus 37,425, Josh. We put $10 on it. $3,742.51. How about that? Who says no? What do you think, fellas? You like it? Rick in the chat says Pearsall under 18.5 yards receiving. Well, that's bull. I like Ricky Pearsall.
Yeah, but that's a smart under, because remember, it's Braylon Allen.
You know what? Let's go back. Let's add that in there. Rick, we're gonna go with you, buddy.
You're gonna make it 11?
We're gonna make it. Well, you know what? We're gonna make it an 11. Is that too aggressive? Probably. It's probably too. It's too aggressive already. Player yards. Where's old Rick? Where's Rick? Come on, Ricky Pearsall. Under 17.5, it says here. So we'll go under.
Sure.
What did Rick say? 18.5. I have 17.5. Okay, we'll go under. All right. Now it's an 11. Okay. Boom. There we go. All right. We're in. We're good. There we go, Josh. Let me know your guys' guaranteed bets, the parlay party. This is an insane ticket. We'll put it on. We'll see what happens, right?
Hey, the worst thing that happens is you lose it anyway.
Someone's gonna, as Bart said to Homer on The Simpsons, someone's gonna bilk you out of your money. Might as well be your own brother. Might as well be this. Why not? Josh, Awesome, buddy. Thank you so much for stopping in this morning. Where can people find you? What are you up to today, all week, all that good stuff?
So on Twitter, X at Josh Hennig. You can follow me on IG at Joshua S. Hennig. I actually have this is the last Sunday I have of no work events for the
Oh.
rest of the football season. So
Jeez.
next month I will be out every single Sunday in some
Wow.
capacity.
Really? Okay. Well, enjoy the day, my friend. Get some sleep. You're going to need it.
Hey, listen, I will be in a better position than you because you got to drive an hour to a wedding.
I'm going to have my phone. I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to have the phone. They're like, oh, how nice the vows. And we'll be watching something. Watching my ticket. Come on. All right. Okay, buddy. Good stuff. Thanks for jumping on. Appreciate it.
Anytime, my friend.
There he goes. Josh Hennig from 97.3 ESPN. And guess what, folks? The Emirates NBA Cup is here. You can win big getting in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA and NFL. All 30 teams split into 6 groups every Tuesday and Friday, playing for the right to advance in the single elimination in-season tourney, culminating in the NBA Cup Championship in Vegas. First time playing? Here's something special just for you. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly using code SICKSPORTS. So score big with DraftKings Sportsbook. Every point counts. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code SICKSPORTS. That's code SICKSPORTS. New customers get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball.
There we go, kids. Boom. NFL Sunday. We're ready to rock and roll. Any other fantasy football questions? You got any crazy bets? Let me know about it on X, on Twitter, at SickPodBrowns, at AndyMC81. Make sure you're following us there, as well as on Instagram, at AndyMC Sports. Check out my instant reaction videos after the Browns beat down the Steelers on Thursday night. And there you go. So we'll be back with a Tuesday show. Get you all ready. Good luck. Get those fantasy questions in, remember, on social. Thanks to Josh Hennig from 97.3 ESPN, producer Shane, and to all of you, I'm Andy McNamara. You've been watching the Sick Podcast. And even though they're not playing, go Browns!
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.